Chapter 7, A Phantom's Poisonous Persuasions. One by one, Daisy bent the staples off the paper and tossed them to Eli for him to contort the locked handle in order to budge open the door. He continues to collect each staple and meticulously bend and pull the inside of this handle until Daisy runs out of them to throw. Eli, in frustration, cups every staple in the palm of his hands and shoves them in all at once, mashing them together. He then proceeds to push and bash them through the hole until he wrecks the wired lock and the handle falls face down on the floor. Eli lightly touches the flat door before it moves all the way across on its own, looking over at Daisy with a bewildered shrug at how it managed to work. They then zoom past the broken hatch and head through the hall and to the spiraling staircase. Guiding each other across the underground jacuzzi entrance, they enter into the ghastly warm-watered wonderland that was still, however, a shithole. There seemed to be some life forms around, but these phantoms fungus still fell, flying through the room, with some ghost decaying goo left as disgusting, rusty remnants of this vile, haunted hot tub house. It also depends if someone can see this sight for sore eyes on their ability to sense the spirit's slumber, meaning that someone can see more or less of this mess. Eli and Daisy continue across this hellish house, directing themselves toward the front hot tub, where they discover the slowly decaying body of the recently deceased Roxy. Daisy's heart stops in sudden shockness, unable to move an inch. Eli immediately grabs and lays the body on dry land, checking any signs of life sadly not found. Daisy also shakily checks in denying hope herself, with her then in horror and shock when it's then conclusive fact that her sister is dead. Unable to properly process her every emotion in its flaring rush, her mind simply passes out onto the pool, feeling the touch of the tube's warm water before she then blacks out. Daisy wakes in the cool pool water, feeling the rush of chilled freshness, but not having the full satisfaction of the feeling, but a dull emotional and physical numbness. Eli embraces her in her revival, giving but not able to receive a rewarding hug. She simply stares off, seeming to start to state what her mind has fastly flowed through her head.
You were right, Eli. None of us can stand against the unstoppable. I can hear them now completely, and they all want us to serve them. Todd knew it in his last words. Underwater.
None of us would have known what he could have said in there.
I heard it from the start, but choose to suppress such words. And now, I know you knew exactly what he would later say before he even said them. In fact, you always knew we were going to arrive there, dead in the underworld. Now say it. Say it out loud, Eli.
He said, "I'll see you there, Roxy."
And she did, and so can I.
As suffering slaves, serving under my Zahn monarchy.
You can change that. Your family will listen.
Down there can be all kinds of brutal, unbelievable dictators of hell. And especially when being below there, I don't even think I can trust myself with that kind of power.
Well, I do. I'm sorry for what I have to do, babe.
Daisy pushes Eli into the swirling spiral portal, occupying him in getting out as she sprints out the door to the tub entrance. Eli proceeds to budge out rapidly, increasingly inching through until it flings him out, freely flying onto the railing. Once he rises, rolling off the floor, he fastens his pace, running wildly across in panic. As Eli does that, Daisy dawns down against the warm tub bubbles, diving inside in controlled meditation, collecting the commanding carnage of venomous vocals, killing herself of this cunning commitment.
You can live up to artful ambitions here, with undead unlimited potential.
Your services will be of sustained value, and will be of dire use and fulfillment.
Your sister is happy here, and so will you be, with your almighty kingly lover ruling.
No, Daze, get out of there. In a mad dash, Eli jumps in and jerks Daisy off the aqua, shaking her in order to assure survival, hearing her final signs of briefly left life.
Be my royalty here with me. Be our kingly Zahn for all our sake. Join us. Come with me, Eli.
Daisy lastly utters in gasping breath, finally submerging to death. Eli stands there in stunned silence and sobs a few moments before becoming just as emotionally numb as her. He now begins pondering the question, what do I do now? Continuing to wander across, wondering what's his answer, and ending up having none, now realizing he's become one truly lost soul. Chapter 8. Entering the endless royalty of Zahn. In a pointless and haphazard state of being, Eli engrosses himself in rummaging through absolutely anything in the motel. Scouring various cabinets and rooms inside and outside the hotel, he eventually strikes a hopeful discovery when finding the resort's rusty, dusty pool net. With this large caging device at hand, this all might have possibly been resolved previously, but now all he needed was some sweet, thrilling vengeance to satisfy his rampaging rage, as well as to soothe his somber, sluggish state. He proceeds to release this fiendish trap, walking and wobbling along with this wide, outsized web. Eli then sends this cage down, slamming onto the surface, splashing wide waves across the pool borderline before it sinks slowly below. He begins to rock the net back and forth, trying to find this fiend in every corner possible, proceeding to catch the bright glowing undersea tsunami in a bolting zoom onto the brute inside. As it dives and surfs the slim sea, Eli bats the net in a zigzagging attempt at snatching this little shit. However, he then proceeds to raise the web way above it and then whips it right back below the water and briefly bashes the entity inside before it suddenly shines brightly, glowing and glistening like a disco ball. These rippling lights beam through wavering waters, transforming the wet reflection of Eli into a perfect portrait of his late great-grandfather, Zackary Zahn. Grandpa?
Elijah, come, take your place in the throne of Zahn. I have led for an eternity and have waited for the next son to sit upon this hierarchy, and I have found him. I never really died the day I lost my next hotel heir. I simply transcended through and moved beyond being, pulling past pesky resorts and fulfilling my ruling reign upon the underworld. Don't believe me? Ask our common ancestors.
Your great pops attempted to accomplish many things, and I tried to assist my little bro after the Great War, but this ain't like them trenches, you know. No, this transcends to a grand, godly kingdom, and I served my brother in arms better than when I was a soldier serving because my services were for a god, which you can be too, little nephew.
I was washing and wiping around for Brother Zack in his hotel. But now he has shown me more a girl can accomplish. When there's centaurs, mermans, and elves, Big Brother's always watching. But the life of a lady has never looked quite this large before for dear old Aunt Flo.
Dirt and grime, ash and smoke. I've seen these things in the horrors of war and when sweeping chimneys. Not anymore, kid. Now this old bastard's a riding Pegasus, flying in the sky.
Come with me. Take your place on my throne, great-grandson.
Eli exhales loudly and longingly, taking his first steps down the pool onward toward his new dynasty destiny. Eli knew now that however his grandfather ruled before did not matter anymore, because he is in charge now. If Zack indulged in servants of slavery or powers of evil darkness, it's in the past. Eli's new monarchy can purge whatever wrongdoing and havoc Zack may have condoned. His power is a responsibility, and he didn't trust himself with it because of cunning corruption that might have consumed him in his almighty reign. But now, he realizes that his environment cannot change him when in power, but that he can change his environment by having the power to control and conform an ever-changing world to his every will and whim. responsibility that he is now willing to take on, standing in the twirling light of the portal that will then travel him to that twisted realm. Ready to reveal himself back to his beloved buddies, a bright blinding light shines over Eli as he is taken to his freshly found kingdom, where he'll then become the underworld's newly crowned King Zahn.